Then when they become members of ARSO, as champions, ARSO champions, we're encouraging them to participate in the development of ARSO standards, in the harmonization of ARSO standards through the technical committees. And in addition to that, it's not only having these standards harmonized, but we want to encourage all member states as ARSO champions to adopt these standards. Apart from adopting these standards, that means they have to apply these standards in their respective countries. Because once these standards are applied, because they become universal, and then it is easier for us to trade amongst ourselves, to facilitate trade from one country to another. For instance, we as standards bodies, whether it's CABES, a standard body in Zambia, we certify these products. And we don't certify all the products, but we certify some of the products. So it's incumbent upon the producer, the manufacturer, to ensure that standards are followed. If they follow standards, then if they follow standards, adhere to standards, specification on the standards, even when the product is tested, it shows that it has passed, then that is good for consumption. So we encourage all manufacturers to ensure that they embrace standards because they add value to their product.
So why this workshop matters? Because we have drafts. Those annexes have been developed working together with the Secretariat of ARSO and the Secretariat of ISO, but we want your voice. We need your voice to making it sure that we have put together is pragmatic, is practical, can be operationalized by you, the NSBs in Africa, by your experts. So that's the challenge and the responsibility we have in our hands to make the Kigali Agreement to evolve from a dream, to evolve from this joint aspiration into something that is tangible, and we can achieve actually that level of harmonization that will unlock the potential of the AFC FTA, that will support development, that will support also the well-being of all people here in Africa.
If you look at the AFCFTA agreement, TBT Annex 6, they request countries to utilize ARSO standard and international standard that respond to our needs. Yeah, we need to influence those international standards because if we don't influence them, they will not respond to our needs. That's why influence is key.
Jumbo, thank you so much. My name is Hayat Belhaji. I'm in charge of the Conformity Assessment Program for Cosmetics for Intertech Government and Trade Services. Intertech is a service provider, is a conformity assessment body supporting the government as well as the industry to offer to the end consumer a safe product, good quality product, and compliant product. Regulatory harmonization is definitely the key milestone for offering for Africa, not only a made in Africa, good quality level, safety level, compliance, but also to facilitate the trade, not only within Africa, but also having a key role within the global market and having good quality again and safe product for the end consumer, which is at the end of the day for all the stakeholder, government, industry, and as well as conformity assessment body such as Intertech, a common goal to offer good quality and safe product for the consumer.
tafuta get, ukiwa na kebs usitense, bidhaa sibonoko ni check, mali ni fresh. Worry, usiwe na worry, ukiwa na kebs, usiwe na worry. Kebs, bima sawa, maisha sawa, twende sana, measure right na kebs, bima sawa, iko sawa, maisha sawa.
I am Esther Ngari, the Managing Director for Kenya Bureau of Standards. Africa is changing. And as our economies become more connected, the way we trade must evolve with them. Imagine a product made in Lagos, certified in Cairo, and accepted in Durban. A service from Rabat, trusted in Nairobi. An innovation from Kampala, accepted in Windhoek. This is the promise of a more integrated Africa. With shared standards, we can build trust, open markets, reduce barriers, and make trade across our continent simpler and more seamless. Standards should not be barriers to trade. They should be bridges connecting our businesses, our markets, and our nations. With one certificate recognized across borders, we can unlock opportunities and accelerate intra-African trade for the benefit of our people and economies. As we gather for the 32nd ARSO General Assembly under the theme Standards Enabling Intra-African Trade under the AFCFTA, one certificate working for you. I warmly welcome delegates from across Africa to Mombasa, Kenya. Welcome to magical Kenya, where African hospitality meets the future of trade.
What connects a product made in Cairo to a market in Nairobi and even to a consumer in Cape Town? Trust, quality, standards, the invisible force powering Africa's growth. This August, the people shaping that future gather in one place, where Africa's future takes shape.
We don't just harmonize the standard, we harmonize the standard looking at the trading patterns that we have at the continental level. The submitted tariff lines under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area have now been covered at the level of 28%. We know that we have 72% to go that we provide harmonized standard to realize the needs and our motto of one certificate, one standard, one test, one certificate accepted everywhere. Looking at how far we have gone on the standard, we should also link it to the implementation of those standards. Because one thing is to have the standards, yes, but if the standards are not implemented,
Across the East African community, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya,
Studio.
Rwanda, South Sudan.
Studio. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Let's all be upstanding. Your Excellency, we will start with the national anthem of Kenya and the East African anthem. Thank you very much. We can all have our seats. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Honorable Lee Kenyanjui, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Kabetse Bosile, President of the Africa Organization for Standardization, Honorable Dr. Chris Wamalwa, Chairman of the National Standards Council, Saijo Muhika, Secretary General, International Organization for Standardization, and Dr. Hamujin Sengemana, Secretary General, Africa Organization for Standardization, Madam Esther Ngare, the Director General for the Kenya Bureau of Standards, distinguished heads of delegations, delegates, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, I salute you all. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You have been welcomed to this week-long continental gathering that has brought together ministers, national standard bodies, regional economic communities, industry leaders, development partners, certified bodies, and technical experts under the theme, and I quote, Your Excellency, sir, Standards Enabling Intra-Africa Trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area, where this week, sir, we are saying one certificate working for all. At this juncture, sir, to set the mood, I will call upon a choreographed music and dance by a dance group called Pride in Motion, Your Excellency, sir, that has a song that speaks and says on Mali inasonga bila border. The song, Your Excellency, is in 3 languages, that is English, Swahili, and French. Enjoy yourself, Your Excellency.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
ARSO, one certificate working for you.
Songa wa corona bonda, kuna kuporwa, kuna kugongwa, kila unaenda bidhaa ziko proper, kila unaenda bidhaa ziko proper. Mali inasonga bila boda, mali inasonga bila boda. Songa 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 songa. Mali inasonga bila boda, mali inasonga bila boda. Songa 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 songa. Songa 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 songa. Des produits, des coups de fouet, des produits.
one certificate working for you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate them as they leave the stage once again. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Allow me to acknowledge the entry and presence of His Excellency, the Governor of the County of Mombasa, Honorable Abdulswamad Sharif Nasir. Your Excellency, at this juncture now, I will welcome Madam Esther Ngare, the Director General of KEBS, that's the Kenya National Bureau of Standards, for her welcoming remarks. Makofi kwake.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, let me stand on the protocols which have already been observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. On behalf of the Kenya Bureau of Standards, it's a great honor to welcome you to the 32nd ARSO General Assembly here in Mombasa. We are very honored to host this gathering at a time when Africa's standards community is being called upon to do something much greater than develop technical specifications. We are here called upon to build trust at the continental scale, and that is what brings me to the heart of our theme: standards enabling intra-African trade under the AFCFTA, one certificate working for you. Distinguished delegates, a certificate at its simplest is a piece of paper, or increasingly it has become digital. But its true value is not in that paper. Its value is in the trust that it carries. When a manufacturer presents a certificate, they are saying, I met the requirements. When a regulator accepts the certificate, they are saying, I trust the system that produced it. And when a buyer relies upon it, they are saying, I trust the product I am about to purchase. And that is the invisible chain behind every successful transaction. So standards build the chain, conformity assessment strengthens that chain, and accreditation gives it the credibility. Mutual confidence allows it to travel. Our challenge is therefore not simply to produce more standards or more certificates, it is to make that trust portable. A product should not lose the credibility it has earned simply because it has closed the border. And a competent laboratory should not have to start from zero every time its results close into another jurisdiction. A manufacturer should not have to repeatedly prove the same conformity to different authorities when the technical basis of that conformity is already trusted. And when we achieve this, the certificate stops being a document, it becomes the passport for trade. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to promise that we will have one certificate working for you. And as national standards bodies, who are the majority in this room, we occupy a very unique position. We stand between the producer and the consumer, between innovation and regulation, between national markets and international commerce. That position carries profound responsibility. We must protect that without creating burdens. We must uphold quality without creating needless barriers. We must facilitate innovation without compromising on the quality. And we must build systems that are rigorous enough to command confidence, yet responsive enough to serve rapidly changing economy. This requires us to continually ask ourselves the difficult question, but very necessary. Are our systems making it easier for our good to prove that it is good? If yes, then standards are doing their job. But if no, we must have the courage to change and to improve. And this is where our responsibility becomes real. So for African Standards community, this is our moment. Our political leaders are creating the policy space. Our trade agreements are opening new opportunities, and our responsibility is to build the confidence and technical systems that allow African businesses to seize them. So to our colleagues across Africa and to our international partners, I would like to say that Kenya has not seen standardization as a national, does not see standardization as a national endeavor. We see it as a shared African responsibility. No single national standards body can build the quality architecture that our continent requires. Our strength lies when we can do together, sharing expertise, strengthening our institutions, developing common solutions, and learning from one another. That is why we are here this week. Let me say that a border may separate two countries, but it should not separate two systems of trust. When compliance is recognized, quality is trusted, and unnecessary duplication falls away. Standardization moves beyond supporting trade, it enables trade. Let us make our theme a lived reality. One standard, one test, one certificate, working for Africa. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Your Excellency, I will now call upon the Secretary General of ARSO, that is Hamojin Sengemana, for his remarks. Karibu.
Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, allow me to stand on all protocol observes. The 400 plus delegates you see here, they did not come today. Yeah, we have been working and also enjoying Mombasa, Governor. I want just to mention 3 key issues that our council deliberated on. The first issue is looking at how we take standardization bodies as enablers for trade. Our council has reiterated that we cannot trade if we don't have products to trade on. And now the main focus will be also helping the industry to get product to trade on. That was one of our key resolutions in the council that is composed by 12 member countries. The second resolution is to produce standards that are working for our continent under the AFCFTA. Our guiding principle are the tariff lines. The tariff lines submitted to the AFCFTA. I am happy, Your Excellency, that our council approved a 214 harmonized standard. They deserve an applause, those experts who developed these standards. We are now covering 28% of the AFCFTA tariff line. And we also understand that to reach the 72% remaining, we require finance and investment. We are happy that you are here, and we are happy that you reach where we cannot reach. The government should put in the funding to the Bureau of Standards, then we can deliver what our industries need. The last point was on the theme of today, theme of this whole week, one certificate working for you. Your Excellency, I am happy to announce that we have more than 350 products that are now certified ARSO quality mark. And they are traceable. They are traceable. You can check on the website of ARSO. You will see products certified in 9 countries that we are happy you will be launching officially the ARSO quality mark today. We have more than 200 SMEs. And Your Excellency, sometimes I am asked if this is only for the SMEs. Among the industries that have been certified, there is the sugar refinery industry of Dangote in Nigeria. It's not about the small industries. The one standard can work for us. Thank you very much, and I take this opportunity lastly to thank the government of Kenya for hosting us. It was a very short notice, but due to your honoring of the accord signed, you managed to host this event that should have happened in Uganda. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, now I will call upon the Secretary General for ARSO, that's Mr. Saija Muhika, to also put across his remark as we carry on with the protocol.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, honorable guests, dear colleagues and friends, let me start by thanking the government of Kenya, and especially the Kenya Bureau of Standards, and very especially the Managing Director, Esther, for your warm hospitality that is making us feel at home, and also for an extraordinary and very professional organization of this event with such a short notice, as was mentioned by Hermojin. I feel very reassured and very excited also to know that the ARSO General Assembly will be hosted here in Kenya in the year 2028. Thank you for that. So ARSO was created exactly 80 years ago, right after World War II, because it was very clear that if we wanted to rebuild the world, we needed international standards. It was understood, and this is our mandate, that with international standards, we can support economic and social development. And now it's not only us saying that, it's also the World Bank, through the World Development Report that says with all clarity, standards are the hidden foundation for prosperity. Colleagues, this is our privilege. This is our collective responsibility. Through our work, through our standards, we can improve the quality of life of people. How does it work? ARSO is a global community composed of 175 members, 70% of them from developing countries. So when we talk about capacity building, we take it very seriously, because capacity building is not about charity, it's about enablement, it's about efficiency, it's about effectiveness. ARSO cannot be a global community without all our members with the capacity to do their job at the national and international level. Second element is expert knowledge, but not knowledge enough. That's the easy part in a way. It's the core values we follow, because we create our standard working by consensus in a fully inclusive and transparent manner, and also enabling the participation from developing countries. And number 3, is the capacity of our standards to be used everywhere. Imagine that best practice can be implemented in Germany, in Kenya, in an LDC, in Africa, in America, everywhere. That is what really creates this universal language, or this passport I mentioned by Hermogene, to have real, inclusive international trade. ARSO. ARSO is not only a friend, it's a strategic partner. We share, almost all your 44 members are also members of ISO, and we have the same vision, we have the same values. And we have a long-standing collaboration going on, focused on capacity building for many years, and we have the leaders for the capacity building committee, the Director General of Senegal Bureau of Standards here. But now we have moved together to the next phase, to the next level. With the signature of the Kigali Agreement on the 9th of October last year, it's very recent, we created the capacity to mutually recognize our standards, formally adopt our standards, but more importantly, to co-create those standards by aligning our processes to ensure that whatever we do, we land in the same place with one standard that is harmonized and works not only for Africa, but for the whole world. I think this is going to be really impactful. We will be able to achieve a higher level of harmonizations as requested by the Secretariat of the AFCFTA. We will be able to increase the participation from African experts in international standardization, and we will also be able to provide further support in the implementation of the standard, because our job does not finish when we publish the standard. That is just the beginning. The real work now is to ensure that everyone will have the capacity to implement those standards in real life. I think we can be very proud of the progress we have made, but this is just the beginning. The Kigali Agreement was an important moment, as I have defined one of the main milestones in my tenure as Secretary General of ISO. But for the Kigali Agreement to create the impact that we expect, we need to put it to work in practice. We need to develop the annexes, and we need to start with the pilots that we will produce the level of impact and the change that we expect. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated, Your Excellency. You will now hear from the President of ARSO, who is Kebabetse Botsile. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Let me stand on the same protocol. On behalf of the ARSO fraternity and stakeholders, it is a great honor to welcome you, all our esteemed delegates, to the Republic of Kenya, the coastal city of Mombasa, Kenya, to the 32nd ARSO General Assembly events dubbed the ARSO Week 2026 and hosted by the government of the Republic of Kenya through the Kenya Bureau of Standards. You are welcome. We express our sincere gratitude to the government of the Republic of Kenya for the acceptance to host this 32nd General Assembly within the shortest period of notice, and for the dedication of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Prof. Kithure Kindiki, as the chief guest of honor to the events, and accompanied by senior government officials like H.E. Abdul Samad Sharif Nasser, Mombasa Governor of the County Government of Mombasa, and His Excellency Won Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. We thank you so much. This underlines not only the importance the Kenya government accords standardization as an instrument for sustainable development, but how the government recognizes the role of ARSO in promoting standardization activities in Africa and responsibility of hosting ARSO by the government on a diplomatic status. For this, the ARSO fraternity remains appreciative. Ladies and gentlemen and distinguished delegates, it is also not lost on us that were it not for the outbreak of Ebola in the DR Congo, the General Assembly events could have been held in Kampala, Uganda. at the Spege Resort, Munyonyo, Kampala, hosted by the government of the Republic of Uganda through the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, UNBS. In this regard, and on behalf of the ARSO fraternity, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the government of the Republic of Uganda and the management of the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, led by engineer James Kasigwa, in putting in place a robust logistical arrangements to ensure the success of the General Assembly. We say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, as we join the celebrations of the ARSO Week 2026, under the theme Standards Enabling Intra-Africa Trade under the AFCFTA, one certificate working for you, we should not forget that Africa under the Agenda 2063 and the AFCFTA, and within the support of the international community, is well poised to achieve its transformation agenda with African leaders at the highest echelons. Having over the last 5 decades spearheading this determination through policy and summit decisions that have produced visions and strategic frameworks on every facet of the fulfillment of the African Renaissance. The latest of this Agenda 2063, with one of its key flagship projects, AFCFTA, which has charted a bold trajectory spanning the next 50 years for Africa's sustainable development. Specifically, ladies and gentlemen, the AFCFTA provides a members-driven roadmap for achieving sustainable and inclusive development and accelerating trade competitiveness of the African firms, investment and industrialization with a focus to create a single continental market for goods and services and free movement of business, persons and investments, as the AFCFTA addresses 3 major categories of obstacles, which has affected African economies for a long time, namely weak productive capacities and limited economic diversification, tariff-related costs associated with slow implementation, high non-tariff barriers-related costs that hamper the competitiveness of firms. In this context, ladies and gentlemen, the ARSO programs and activities are being implemented within the Strategic Plan 2022-2027, with key outcomes focused on how standards and the conformity assessment systems can promote the intra-African trade and the implementation of AFCFTA agreement, and based on the TBT Annex 6 and the SPS Annex 7, which are focused on strengthening quality infrastructure in Africa, increasing harmonization in implementation of African standards, strengthening the conformity assessment facilitation of quality culture in Africa and partnerships. May I underscore the fact that the 32nd ARSO General Assembly events with a focus on one certification are therefore aligned to the goals of the African Union, formerly AU, under the 1980 Lagos Plan of Action. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy President, I thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, Your Excellency. For the second part of the program, I will invite Honorable Dr. Chris Wamalwa, the Chair of the NSC, to carry up the second bit of the protocol as well as program. Karibu. A round of applause, please.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, kindly, Your Excellency, allow me to ride on the established protocols. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and on behalf of the National Standards Council that I warmly welcome you to Kenya, and more particularly to the beautiful and vibrant city of Mombasa. To all our brothers and sisters from across Africa and beyond, Karibuni Kenya, Karibuni Mombasa, we are truly honored to host you. This assembly comes at an important moment of our continent. Africa is seeking to trade more with itself, create more opportunities for its people, and build industries that can compete confidently in the global marketplace. And in this journey, standards are not simply technical documents, they are the common language of trust. The theme of this assembly, Standards Enabling Intra-Africa Trade, one certificate working for you, therefore speaks directly to the Africa we want to build. When a product meets the required standard in one African country, a producer should not have to start the same process all over again, simply because that product crosses another African border. One test, one certification, one trusted system, opening doors across our continent. This is the promise of the One Certificate vision. As the National Standards Council, we remain committed to providing strategic oversight to KEBS and supporting efforts to strengthen Kenya's quality infrastructure. To align our standards with the regional and international benchmarks and advance mutual recognition across Africa. There is an African saying that wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can impress it. This assembly brings us together some of the finest minds and institutions in our continent's standardization community. Let us use this opportunity to share our experience, challenge one another, and build practical solutions that work for Africa. I commend the DG, the management and staff of KEBS, together with ARSO, Secretariat, and all our partners for the work that has gone into making this assembly possible. I also express our sincere appreciation to the government of Kenya under the leadership of His Excellency the President, William Samoei Ruto, for its continued support to the standardization and industrialization. Distinguished delegates, as you deliberate over the coming days, let us remember that the ultimate purpose of standards is not standard itself. It is the opportunity that the standards create for a business to grow, for a product to cross a border, and for an industry to compete, for an African consumer to have confidence in what they buy. Let us seize this opportunity to make one certificate not merely an inspiration, but a reality for the African business. Once again, welcome to Kenya, welcome to Mombasa. And Our Excellency, the President, he is taking us to Singapore. And I can't finish this speech without quoting Lee Kuan Yew on what he did in Singapore. When you read his book, From Third World to First World, this is what he had to say. That trade, free trade, has a positive correlation with economic development. And we in Kenya, we are moving to Singapore. Now, allow me, Your Excellency, it's my singular pleasure now to invite a friend of mine. We worked together in Parliament. He was my chair of the Public Investment Committee, where I was a ranking member. He was my boss in the committee, but I was his boss on the floor of the House, whereby I was the minority whip, the governor of the great county of Mombasa, His Excellency, Honorable Abdul Somad. Karibu sana. Thank you.
Good morning. Your Excellency, there's a Swahili saying that says, Dunia ni mduara. Basically in Swahili means that the world is a circle. And what starts at one point ends up in another point. And as I was seated there, it is true, Chris, he was quite, gave me quite a hard time when I was the chair of the Public Investment Committee. But going backwards, I studied in the same school as yourself. That actually deserves an applause because we went to a very good school. Your Excellency, we served in Parliament together when you were a senior senator and I was a member of Parliament. I served with Chris, and I think the DG, if I'm not mistaken, appeared before me as well when I was the chair of the Public Investments Committee. So if you want some of the files on KEBS, please do let me know, Your Excellency. But the irony of it all, and that's the reason why I'm saying that the world is a circle, dunia ni mduara, is that of all places, we actually met right here in Mombasa, where trade before had no boundaries, where we were receiving dhows coming here, where the sea was able to meet the caravans, and no better place, Ebola or no Ebola, no better place for you to have done this conference than right here in Mombasa, the capital of trade. Your Excellency, about 2 days ago, you hosted us in your house as the governors of Kenya. And in that spirit, one of the agenda items that was there in IBEC, which is basically the forum that brings together the governors together with the national government, chaired by the Deputy President himself. And one of the agendas that was discussed was how we can be able to reduce inter-county boundary trade barriers that are there. And today what we're discussing here is how we can have an element of removing barriers that are there and bring a lot of hindrances. Your Excellency, this goes beyond just KEBS alone. And I think the biggest enemy of Africa is Africa itself. The fact remains today our skies are the least covered with airlines hovering over our airspace because of our own doing. The fact that we have so many restrictions that are there. The fact still remains, Your Excellency, that because we have inter-country barriers that reduce so much that can be done. And I know, maybe I say this as a politician, but this opens up a market for every single African enterprise, from the largest enterprises to the smallest enterprises, to a market of about 1.6 billion people, which is about 19% of the population, if you're able to unlock what the people in this very room, together with their governments, can be able to do. So this is no small achievement, Your Excellency. And it won't be bad for me to actually state it here, that for those questioning, this does not just talk about the Dangotes and all the other large investments, but this is also about the small SMEs, the ones who were in each and every one of our manifesto. Your Excellency, unlocking this gives the hustlers an opportunity to a market of 1.6 billion people just in the continent of Africa alone, and needs to be applauded that Kenya has taken the front line in being able to do what needs to be able to be done. So congratulations to yourselves. Your Excellency, one is on a lighter note, but the other one not on a very lighter note. One, Your Excellency, we're at very, very wild political times. And I think we need to come up with standardizations. If these guys here can be able to come up with standardizing thousands of products, please come up with a way to standardize politicians as well. And I'll say this without fear of contradiction as to why. I mean, you have people vying for similar positions, and one person is talking about an agenda, the other one is talking about insults. So we need to have some level of standardization so that when we are competing, we know who we are competing with. You cannot talking about how bright the sun is, and then the other argument on the other side is that, no, the sun is not bright, but the water is cold. It's different arguments that are there. And lastly, Your Excellency, this is something that we as Mombasa take very, very seriously. It is a piece of legislation that we have sent to IBEC, and His Excellency has told me to be a bit careful in passing this into law and appending my signature. But it is an unwritten law, but we take this very seriously. For those of you who are in Mombasa, we have one piece of law here. Please make sure you finish all your money here before you go back to your houses. We will accord you the necessary transportation to take you to the airport, and I'm sure once you're back home, your neighbors, friends, and families can be able to pick you and drop you to your offices and homes as well. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and karibu to all of you to Mombasa. Asanteni sana. I believe I'm meant to invite the CS League. Okay. Thank you very much.
Makofi kwa governor wetu. Your Excellency, allow me just to, the board of KEBS to stand up so that you are seen by His Excellency the President. Some of them are in 2-term. Here are those in 1-term, and they want to go to 2-term, Your Excellency. So please, can you stand up? So these first ones are 2-term and 1-term. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, our Cabinet Secretary is a wonderful man. A humble man who can't even hurt a fly. And keeps you where we are because of him. I don't know how to address him. You know, he's been a governor. So he has the title His Excellency. At the same time, he's a CS. So keeps we are where we are because of this wonderful man. May I now take this opportunity to invite His Excellency CS Lee Kinyanjui EGH. Makofi kwake. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Chairman. Allow me, Your Excellency, to start by thanking you for taking time to be here. Our Deputy President being here is also a significant statement that the government of Kenya takes this matter seriously and that we are ready and willing to be active participants in the conversation around standards. So really, I want to thank you. And once again, because we are here so that we can have standards respected across the continent, I also want to use that paradigm to say, since the protocols have already been established, may I also borrow the same protocols for all of you who are here. So please feel welcome. And again, as the governor has said, we must say that for those of you coming to Mombasa or Kenya for the first time, you are most welcome. I had some of you talk about the weather is good, and I'm wondering whether this is summer or winter. We don't make those distinctions. So around the year, whichever part of the year you want to come, we have good weather, and Mombasa is really the place. In the local language, we normally say Mombasa Raha, whose direct translation is come and enjoy Mombasa. So really thank you, and we couldn't say more about Mombasa. Now, the choice of this venue for ARSO is also significant because Mombasa is a gateway, not just to Kenya, but to the region. And one of the biggest issues I have to deal with every now and then are issues to do with ease of trade between Kenya and other African countries. And just for you to appreciate how serious or difficult it is to do trade, first we can agree we have over 40 borders across the continent. And you know, when you're crossing an African border, you have to stop, you have to be checked, your standards have to be realigned, and if you have not conformed, it's a long story. Many of us know that when you're moving from Netherlands to Germany to France, you don't even get to know you have crossed one country to the other. So there's a real conversation around how we can make our trade seamless across the continent. We have other issues, including language, including transport and logistics. But if you're able to address the issue of standards, we'll have done a very serious good to the continent. And I really want to thank the technical teams for the work they have done so far. Most of the people who trade don't know each other. And the only way they can be sure that the product they are buying meets the standards is when our organizations talk together and adopt what has already been agreed here. So really, allow me to appreciate and thank the technical teams that have been working and to say that much more lays ahead. You will recall that when big agreements are agreed between nations, between presidents, between the African Union and those levels, the real action starts when the bodies at your level now come together and converge for the work to be done. So we appreciate the work you've done and assure you of our continued support moving forward. Now, just to mention one or two issues, is that one of the biggest problems facing Africa is that our trade, intra-Africa trade, is at 17%, while in other continents, like Europe, you're talking about 70, in the Americas, So at 16, it means the conversation we should be having is really how we can help each other to move out of the poverty bracket that we have put ourselves in. So really, I think before we even go to conquer any other markets, we must deal with the African markets. We have nearly 83, 84% that we can be able to access. And still, Your Excellency, I must say that sometimes we have found African products move to other countries and finally come back to the same continent. And I think that's really an issue that we would want to bring to an end. For the SMEs, I think we have been looking at how SMEs start small, finally grow beyond the country, into the region, and over. But the first thing that they must be able to get is certification so that they can go beyond their own country. So when SMEs are not given the opportunity to be certified, when their products don't have recognition beyond their immediate market, then their growth is curtailed. And therefore, Your Excellency and delegates herein present, this conversation must also be how we can increase the survival rate of our SMEs so that they can become the Dangotes of tomorrow. They can be able to conquer not just the African continent, but beyond. And I believe this conversation will help us to create the necessary linkages and poverty alleviation programs that each of our respective countries has been following. The value and respect for every product or standard depends on the integrity of the institutions that carry these particular standards. And therefore, I want to urge through KEBS, we will ensure that at the highest level of integrity, the governance required to ensure that we meet the standards is there. And the same also must be kept at the continental level so that when there's a product from any part of the continent, it can be able to pass without having to go through second, third, or fourth certification that has been the case in the past. Your Excellency, I don't want to say anything beyond this. I believe you have the message for our great delegates who have come from all over the country, and to assure them that in the future, if they want to host any event, Mombasa is always the place. Correct? And as I said earlier, it is probably our only city where even certain rules of formality are waived. It is probably the only place where a governor can go without a tie, and that is normal. And, we really want to encourage, for those of you coming from many other parts of the country, and maybe you have a list of countries that you must visit with your family, this is one of them. Thank you. And allow me to end by requesting all of us to be upstanding as we invite His Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki. A hand of applause, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Good afternoon. Bonjour. Minister Lee, I don't know whether the governor of Mombasa had sent you to campaign for him, because he is facing a re-election next year, because you have said so many good things about him. But I want to confirm those things are true for the reasons which the governor said earlier on. Although there are some things he didn't say, and they better leave unsaid. Once again, good afternoon. It is an honor for me to join you here today and to preside over the official opening of the 32nd African Organization for Standardization, ARSO General Assembly. And this assembly taking place here reminds us, as other speakers have said, of how ancient Mombasa is linked to trade, world trade, through the Indian Ocean trade winds, which brought commerce to this part of the world for many centuries. I know the head of ARSO said how the organization was established in 1946. trade and international trade in Mombasa are more than 10 centuries old. Not just 1 or 2 centuries. Many, many centuries. From 900 BC, AD onwards, there was trade between the east coast of Africa and other parts of the world. And so this is a good place to have the conversations we are having. And on today's occasion, we hope by the end of this week, Mombasa will be again the cradle for a new era of continental economic sovereignty, because what we are discussing here is about the economic freedom of Africa, which is the remaining frontier of freedom for this continent, having overcome colonialism and other forms of oppression. What remains between us and full freedom is economic freedom, and trade is at the center of catalyzing economic freedom of the continent. This meeting is also about an infrastructure that is not drawn by engineers. It's about an infrastructure that is not built by contractors, an infrastructure that is not captured in photographs. Yet without this infrastructure, any port or road or railway we build risks becoming a bridge to nowhere. That infrastructure is called the standard. It is an invisible infrastructure and it is indispensable. I think the president of ARSO has said about the World Bank report of 2025, which captured this theme properly. And that report is entitled Standards for Development. And the report confirmed what many of you here already know, which is that standards are not just the fine print of trade, they are the foundation stone for trade. Therefore, a container ship needs a port while a port needs a channel. But a product needs a standard before it requires a ship for its transportation. You get the standard wrong, you leave the standard unharmonized, and the finest port in the world, including the port of Mombasa, becomes a warehouse for goods destined to nowhere. The African Continental Free Trade Area, in which context we are harmonizing the African standards, as a huge market, 1.4 billion people, an economy, combined GDP of 3.4 trillion US dollars, which is an open door for prosperity and economic sovereignty for Africa. You just need to sell your item to one African and you become a billionaire. And you need to make just a profit of $1 or less to become a dollar billionaire. So this is the door that is open for Africa before even going beyond this continent. Our prosperity is already with us here. The question, therefore, that we are trying to answer this week is whether our goods can walk through this open door, which has been presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area. This huge market, which I have already defined, unfortunately is fragmented into 54 regulatory silos. And in that situation, in that state, it is no longer one market. It is 54 small markets putting on a costume of one large market. A cement bag tested in Nairobi and retested in Lagos a pharmaceutical product certified in Cairo, and again recertified in Accra, a solar panel inspected in Kigali, and again re-inspected in Dakar, is nothing but wasteful duplication. It is duplication, it is a tax on African enterprise, and this burden of duplicated tax is a burden on the small and medium enterprises that this assembly and this continent is relying on for the takeoff of Africa into wealth and prosperity. This is why, therefore, the theme of this assembly, this General Assembly, is very important. One standard, one test, one certificate, accepted everywhere. 4 phrases, one idea. When a Namibian manufacturer tests a product once, and that certificate opens doors in Kinshasa, in Lusaka, Abidjan, in Maseru, without a second inspection, without a second fee, or without a second delay at the border, that achievement is not just a technical achievement, it is Africa economic sovereignty made real by that one certificate. We can look at the situation here in the East African Community region to see how freedom of trade within this continent will look like. Today, within the East Africa Community region, harmonized standards, mutual recognition of conformity assessment, and a shared quality mark have already begun to do what we are looking for at the continental level, which is that this mutual recognition and conformity assessment, which are common, have made a Kenyan good feel less foreign in Kampala, and a Ugandan good feel less foreign in Nairobi. The EAC therefore becomes a working prototype, a proof in practice that when neighbors agree, trade stops asking for permission and starts asking for shelf space. This is precisely where the work of ARSO is going to be most consequential. The lesson from the EAC is clear, that what is possible among immediate neighbors is possible across Africa. The challenge before ARSO is to take this regional proof of concept from the EAC and give it a continental scale to turn the promise of the Africa continental free trade area into a functioning single market where standards open borders, certificates carry trust, and compliant African products move freely from one market to another. We must therefore applaud the landmark progress which has already been made in this regard by the adoption last year of the ARSO-ISO Enhanced Cooperation Agreement, the Kigali Agreement, which is already a milestone towards the desired objectives. By establishing a structured framework of cooperation between ARSO and the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, the Kigali Agreement strengthens Africa's ability not just to adopt international standards, but to participate actively in shaping those standards. It bridges our regional priorities with global expectations, helping ensure that African standards are increasingly aligned with international benchmarks and that African products can compete with confidence in global markets. Our ambition must ultimately be simple: that once a product has been properly tested, once its conformity has been credibly certified, that assurance should travel with this product and not stop at the border. That is the promise behind the vision of one standard, one test, one certificate, accepted everywhere. In this same spirit of global leadership on matter standards, I am pleased to formally announce that Kenya is honored to be the host of the 2028 ARSO annual meeting in Nairobi. We look forward to welcoming the global standardization community to Nairobi and to demonstrate that Africa is not a mere participant in the global quality infrastructure. It is helping to shape the future of that infrastructure. As you deliberate this week, you reflect on the milestones of your strategic plan, the ARSO Strategic Plan 2022 to 2027, as you also lay the blueprint for the 2027-2032 plan. And as you focus on a strategic plan that aligns with Africa's vision, Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the African Quality Policy, I invite this General Assembly to anchor your roadmap around perhaps the following imperatives for action. 1, accelerate harmonization. Prioritize sectors with the highest potential for immediate impact, namely agriculture, value-added agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and manufactured goods. 2, mutual recognition. Build robust and shakable mutual recognition arrangement among national standard bodies so that testing laboratories in Nairobi, Accra, Cairo, Pretoria, and everywhere else in Africa can speak to one another with one unassailable voice. Number 3, empower MSMEs. Quality infrastructure must not be a luxury reserved for multinational conglomerates. We must make certification affordable, accessible, and achievable for micro, small, and medium enterprises, which form the heartbeat of African employment. Number 4, elevate Made in Africa. Align standardization with our industrial value chains using initiatives like Made in Africa to benchmark authenticity, quality, and sustainability for African products entering global supply chains. Number 5, and finally, eliminate friction. Ensure that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area implementation translates into concrete, measurable reductions in border delays, redundant testing costs, and bureaucratic bottlenecks. Distinguished delegates, in Kenya, as our foundational Vision 2030 development blueprint enters its final phase, we are already looking beyond the year 2030 and shaping a new national development discourse, one that looks towards 2060 and the Kenya we intend to build for future generations. Our ambition is to transform Kenya into a high-income, globally competitive, technologically advanced, and industrialized economy. However, delegates, dignitaries present, the remarkable economic transformation across Asia has shown us that nations do not leapfrog into prosperity by aspiration alone. They do so by building institutions, investing in capability, embracing technology, and above all, establishing a culture of quality, productivity, and excellence. Standards are not simply a measure of quality. They are an instrument of transformation. They are the language through which quality becomes measurable, competitiveness becomes credible, and innovation becomes scalable. That is the Kenya we are preparing to build towards 2060. And that is the Africa we want by 2063. Since Kenya believes unreservedly in a unified destiny of Africa collectively, our commitment to ARSO goes beyond words. It is tangible and enduring, and therefore, I affirm Kenya's commitment to ARSO's permanent home in Nairobi. ARSO has already had its headquarters in Nairobi, but the government of Kenya intends to scale up this partnership. In that regard, I'm pleased to announce that Kenya will make available immediately adequate and appropriate land for the construction of a permanent fit-for-purpose ARSO headquarters, providing the organization with a home commensurate with its continental mandate and growing responsibilities. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is going to be Kenya's investment in the institutional future of African standardization. We view this commitment as Kenya's tangible contribution to strengthening Africa's continental quality infrastructure. We offer ARSO a permanent home from which its vision can flourish, its operations can expand, and its influence can radiate across Africa and the globe. I have already talked to my brother's Minister Lee Kinyanjui. I already have an idea where the parcel is going to be, and after this meeting, we are going to start the process of formally identifying and handing over that property so that you can put up your headquarters as ARSO. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of Africa will not be dictated by the resources we extract and export in raw form to distant lands. The future of Africa will be built by the value we add on our products, the quality we guarantee, and the markets we open to one another. Let us move from technical committees to trading corridors, from regional discussions to continental integration, and from separate national certificates to one certificate working for Africa. With those remarks, it is now my distinct duty and honor and pleasure to declare the 32nd ARSO General Assembly officially open. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Asanteni sana. Shukran. And welcome in Mombasa. And I endorse what Governor for Mombasa said, except one thing. Don't spend all your money. Just be left with just enough money to get you from your airport of destination to your house. Otherwise, we don't want to have serious cases of stranded delegates on your return. You can spend everything else except the money you need to get from the airport to your house in your destination. Thank you very much. Karibuni Kenya. And I forgot to bring you greetings from His Excellency President William Ruto. He sent me with a lot of greetings, and you have heard already the commitment he has made on behalf of Kenya on the future of ARSO in terms of providing the permanent home for the organization. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Africa, and God bless the world.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for those kind remarks. We will now have the official launch. Therefore, I will request that you are joined on stage by the President of ARSO for the launch of the sustainability plaque. This launch of Harmonized Africa Standards. The African Organization Standardization has harmonized standards in different sectors: sustainability, circular economy, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and the automotive sector. Today we launched this standard for adoption and implementation. Therefore, Your Excellency, you will also be joined by the Cabinet Secretary as well as the ARSO Secretary General, please make your way to stage. I will also request that I have the ISO SG, that's the Secretary General, as well as the KEBS DG. Then the Honorable Governor, please also make your way here, as well as the Chairperson for the NSC for this particular launch. So, under the account of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A round of applause, please. A round of applause once again. Thank you very, very much. Then in that case, at the same position, Your Excellency, we will have a quick photo opportunity. So the photos will be as follows. The first photo has the KEBS DG, the Cabinet Secretary, ARSO Secretary General, the ARSO President, as well as ISO Secretary General first. So let me have those individuals, then followed by the NSC, that's National Standards Council. The first photo, please. A round of applause, please, as we have that quick photo opportunity. Thank you very much. Let's now have the National Standards Council, about 9 of them. Studio, we can have some music play under. Let's join His Excellency, the Deputy President. The first photo, ladies and gentlemen, you can now take your seats. Yes, let's remain with His Excellency, the Deputy President, to take those photos. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, honorable delegates. The last photo on that one, Your Excellency, thank you very much, the National Standards Council. The last photo has the heads of delegation join you on stage. Therefore, Your Excellency, you will have the heads of delegation join you on stage. Very quickly, please, very, very quickly. Quite a number. Let's just use this other side. It's time is really not on our side. Therefore, let's really quick this up. The heads of delegation, please. Let's just line ourselves up real quick for that quick photo opportunity with His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Some of you can kindly stand at the back. Your Excellency, please make your way to the front so that we can have some 2 or 3 more rows right behind you. A round of applause. Studio, kindly give me some small music under. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. You may all now take your seats. And we allow His Excellency, the Deputy President, also to leave at his pleasure. Your Excellency, you are invited on the other side of this room, on the other side of this hall, You are invited, Your Excellency. The individuals from this particular function have indicated that they do have a gift for you, Your Excellency. They do have a gift for you, so let's just have the gift make its way, and His Excellency, the Deputy President, can receive a gift courtesy of this particular organization, that is ARSO. Please, Your Excellency, there's a gift for you once again. The gift is to be presented. Your Excellency, that is the launch of the Mark of Quality. A round of applause. The launch of the Mark of Quality. Your Excellency, that is the ARSO Mark launch that comes key in the implementation of the AFC-FTA agreement, Annex 6. And there goes the gift once again. A round of applause for him. A round of applause for His Excellency, the Deputy President, and the delegation that has gotten the opportunity to present on behalf of the delegates. We have the 9 delegate countries, Your Excellency, for another bit that have been called upon to also have a moment with you, Your Excellency. Let's just make it real quick. Let's all flank His Excellency, the Deputy President. Some of you can come to this side. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep this running, please. I think we're good now. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Let's now all take our seats. We'll now allow His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to leave at his own pleasure. Your Excellency, on this other side of the event, we have a quick exhibition for your liking. So, asanteni sana. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will allow His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to leave at his own pleasure. He will have a quick walk around. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as His Excellency, the Deputy. Let's all be upstanding kindly as we escort His Excellency, the Deputy President, outside of this forum. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your time here with us. We highly appreciate your presence. Asante sana. Enjoy yourself at the exhibition, Mheshimiwa.